What's up? It's John from RealGamerNewz, and you're watching RGN Today. Today in Real Gamer history, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to review the magazine gaming covers for June of 1999. It's June right now. June is the month where E3 usually takes place. This year, it will not be taking place, sadly. We do have the Summer Game Fest to look forward to. But anyways, let's get into the magazine covers now. First up, computer and video games. I remember CVG as a website from previously in the early 2000s. I have seen their magazines around a bit. At the time, in 1999, I was probably more into like, the Game Pros and EGMs, stuff like that. But yeah, for computers, I always went for PC gaming and also the ones that show you all the different parts. I used to fantasize of like the Falcon Northwest and stuff. But anyways, on this cover here, that's just what comes to mind right away. On this cover here, we have V-Rally 2. Furious 4-player action. You designed the tracks. That's pretty cool for back then. Metropolis, Street Racer, Gran Turismo, Killer, hits Dreamcast. Okay. Not quite sure it killed the Gran Turismo. Also, we got Soul Calibur, DC, Omega Boost, Aliens vs. Predator, all the latest tips and cheats, and Championship Manager 3 Expert Guide. Interesting. Or not. All right. Next here I have, this is not actually a magazine cover. This is an insert, which I thought was really interesting. It says Fox Interactive readies hot properties. And it's talking about Die Hard Trilogy 2, which I remember that on the PlayStation original. That's a really good game. That is a really, really good game. Okay? So if you get a chance to play that again, go for it. Yeah. Now let's see. Like gameplay-wise, it's just really good. Now they're talking about Croc 2. It's just interesting to remember when Fox was making games and Universal Studios was making games. I bet you they wish they stayed in that industry, didn't they? Next up, Game Informer. Game Informer's June 1999. We've got Crash Team Racing, Debut, Die Hard Trilogy 2. John McClane is back with a vengeance. I was just saying that game's incredible. Resident Evil Nemesis. Oh yeah. The third PlayStation installment unveiled. Spyro 2 Purple Power penetrates PlayStation. Bonus Pokemon Gold and Silver. Yep, those were hot at the time, man. Those were good. I remember being like ashamed to say that I would be playing Pokemon Gold. I could never tell anybody. I had a Grand Theft Auto 2 cartridge for Game Boy, and I would just jam it in if someone comes around. It's a really good game, too, at the time. Right now, you'd probably be too frustrated, especially with Grand Theft Auto being like 3D world and everything now. But anyways, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I never actually played that, but I remembered hearing about that. All the rest of these games I've played, though, they were hot. They were awesome. So this is a great cover. This is super nostalgic, too. Next up, Game Pro. June 1999 episode has Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. That's for PS1 and N64. You got the two different games there. NHL 2000, Gran Turismo 2 is up in the top corner. WWF Attitude, okay. And yeah, that looks pretty cool. Street Fighter Alpha 3. That's a pretty cool magazine. Just the lightsaber alone. I feel like I had this. It just seems like really familiar. I had a huge stack of magazines, EGMs and Game Pros. I'm not sure what I did with them. I think they're in an attic somewhere. I don't know, not really sure. If you have them out there, if you found them, enjoy. You got me on that, I guess. Next up, official Sega Dreamcast magazine. Yeah, okay. So this is like leading up to the Dreamcast, and it says Sega Dreamcast goes supersonic. Imagine. Inside, Dreamcast news, previews, features, reviews, and more. 128-bit graphics. Remember back in the bit days, and 64 bits, Super Nintendo 32 bits, and so on, NES, or in fact, Super Nintendo 16-bit. It depends on the game. PlayStation 1, etc. So 56K modem for intense online gaming. I remember that. The Dreamcast comes with the modem, and that was so annoying trying to go buy a modem separately as a younger kid at the time. And like, you only have so many different stores you can try out, and then they're all sold out over and over again. Online shopping was not like it is nowadays. You could not just get a Dreamcast modem. So it was great that that was built in, because I remember trying to get the PlayStation 2 modem, and it was like one of the most annoying things in my life. And thank God I never got one, because it turns out it's not very good. It's not very good. Online gaming really took off at PS3, but Dreamcast was ahead of the curve, offering that built in. Next up, Konami, Diver's Dream. This is just a random, I guess, French insert that I found, and I just thought it's fascinating. PlayStation 1, Diver's Dream. Check it out, guys. Konami used to make games. Imagine that. Now, next up, and it's the last one we've got here. Tips and tricks. Okay. June 1999. Super Smash Bros. Over 2,000 video game tips. Super Mario Deluxe. 2-player Mario tricks. Quest mode. It's really hard to read. Some of these we could not get good quality, unfortunately. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is in this. Jurassic Park, and more. Yeah. Pretty cool. All right, guys. So let me know if you had fun with that segment. Maybe we'll try it again sometime with it, put a new twist on it. All right. I had fun. So thanks for joining me for the Real Gamer News. Real Gamer History. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Gamer News. Call of Duty Season 4 is now in session. This marks the return of Captain Price. There's a bunch of new content that you're going to be able to download for free, and if you buy the Season's Pass. For me personally, I bought in the Battle Pass the first 2 times, and I did review that on the RealGamerNewz.com. We have reviews there. I bought a bunch of the DLC packs with the operator bundles and weaponry and stuff. And I went into detail in those reviews about how I think that it's a problem that they're monetizing guns now in Call of Duty, even though it's marketed as cosmetic only. I don't believe that's precisely the case, because there's something to do with add-ons, which you can get earlier and things like that. And then they're releasing so many over and over again. So me personally, I said I wasn't going to get Seasons 3 Pass. I did buy it. I ended up moving and getting the whole new studio and everything. So I never got time to really play the Seasons 3. So that means I'm not going to be getting the Seasons 4 Pass. It's just a pass for me. Sega launched the Game Gear Micro in Japan on Amazon. There's 4 different types. You can get different games on each one depending which one you pick up. Heavily criticized in the news, of course, because there was this whole lead up to it in our last episode with Famitsu talking about potentially an Xbox merger or a Dreamcast Mini, Sega Saturn Mini, something like that. Turns out it's a Game Gear Micro and something else, Sega Fog Gaming, which that's going to have to do with cloud gaming over arcade cabinets, which is a pretty big deal for Japan. So these are both pretty exciting things for me. I understand why some people are not really excited. To me, I see it as a continued optimization of Sega slowly trying to get back to a respectable position in the hardware industry. And that would have to do with more like collaborating with companies such as arcades. And the Game Gear Micro, I would like to see something like that go further. I believe that there's a chance that this could be a precursor to a all-digital system, which would have like 2D indie games for sale and stuff like that. The Game Gear Micro is just a hardware, like everything's installed in one piece. So that's something we look forward to in the future from either Sega or Nintendo if they do bring back the Game Boy brand. And Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC has brought back all legendary and classic Pokemon. That is coming through with the Seasons Pass from them as well. And DLC, rather than releasing a 3rd game, which they used to just release whole nother game. So that's pretty good for fans. And I've been hearing that it's pretty large and that There's going to be a second portion, which is even larger. So basically, people are pretty happy with the offerings from the Switch there. The Isle of Armor releases July 17th for Nintendo Switch exclusively to Pokemon Sword and Shield. And Project Mercury, a leaked first look at the new Xbox store for Xbox Series X, has released. Windows Central broke the story, and apparently it was leaked in a Windows Insider app. It looks like next generation we're going to have a lot of that tile preview animation and frosted glass type of look for the UIs going forward. We also have a PlayStation 5 leaked UI, although that one might not be real. We're not totally sure yet, so keep your eyes out for that.
And now for the quick news. With the cancellation of Sony's PS5 reveal, no Nintendo Direct on the horizon, and EA's no-show on the rumored Star Wars Project Maverick reveal, we have been left with not much in our hands, waiting, quite a few times the past couple of weeks. Tons of rumors and leaks dominated the airwaves, but there were still a few interesting news stories worth noting. Unreal Engine adds native support for finger tracking in Oculus Quest. Soon it will be even easier for developers to implement the feature. We can imagine very creative scenarios for using, such as exploration games. Kingdoms of Amalur Remaster coming. It's confirmed by THQ Nordic on their Twitter that it's coming. Release date is August, but the day is either the 11th or 18th. I've seen both listed, and most are saying the 18th. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is getting a remastered release this August titled Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. The original has some pretty big names attached to the project, such as Kurt Schilling, R.A. Salvatore, and Todd McFarlane. Released on PS3, Xbox 360, and Windows back in 2012. Developed by Big Huge Games and 38 Studios for EA. It's a fantasy hack-and-slash RPG-style game. While not open-world, had large areas in which to explore and complete quests. It's received generally favorable reviews. Since then, it's developed a loyal following who are no doubt eager for this release. Shouts out to Jason Haywood of RealGamerNewz for the facts on this story. 1 million additional VR headsets on Steam since March 2020, and the monthly active VR users has not decreased since then, meaning the extra million VR gamers are here to stay. Sony's 3D audio approach has been analyzed and explained by game engine developer Cherno, who discusses Sony's proprietary audio ray tracing and audio profile system. His comments are very hopeful, but he also mentions that it will take time for developers to master the new platform. A patent has also leaked showing the inside of the PlayStation 5 has 6 fans. This is surely one of the methods that PlayStation is using to keep the heat down in the system. These two stories put together are a perfect example of our previous article showcasing how PlayStation 5 uses a lot of custom integrated circuitry. Now, PlayStation has a lot of custom hardware, and it seems that not only will the Unreal Engine support that, but it's been focused and changed to work around it. Developers will have to work to take advantage of this, and there's going to be a lot of debates coming with the game industry soon as to which decisions are the best ones and which platform is actually the best, because it's not a pure power thing. It also depends on what is easy to develop for. So one of those issues has to do with the variable CPU frequency, and we're going to be discussing that in RGN Analysis later on in the show. The HP Reverb G2 has been announced, and it's just like an index but with inside-out tracking. It has two 3-inch LCDs with 2160 by 2160 resolution per eye at a 90 Hz frequency. And it weighs just 1.1 pounds, with 4 cameras for tracking and an infinite tracking area, so-called HP claims. 6 degrees of freedom, of course. And there's even word that Valve helped develop this as well as Microsoft. They just want to advance the VR industry, even if it's a competitor, technically speaking. And for our last bit of news, we've also heard that Mafia Remake is on the level of Resident Evil 2 Remake's efforts. This is according to Hangar 13 through a translated article on the German website Playfront. They said that they do have a brand new engine, new content, and more. Mafia Definitive Edition will be released on August 28th, 2020. And now it's time for RGN Analysis, where we break down one industry topic per day. So you're going to be seeing a lot of people talking about variable CPU, and Mark Cerny in particular had made it sound like a really good thing, like an innovative thing. And the more you look into it, it doesn't seem like a very good thing at all. When I first heard it, being a PC gamer for many years, when I first heard that variable CPU, I was thinking, this is not a good sign. Okay, so if you've ever used YouTube, you know variable bitrate, when you put it on auto, it picks kind of like a lower frequency and then it goes up a bit and then it goes back down, up and down as your internet can handle it. Or if you're on fiber, then I guess you don't deal with that because you can just set it to 4K or 8K. Well, now the PlayStation 5 itself is going to have a variable CPU rate versus the Xbox Series X, which has a fixed CPU frequency and will not be using this new adjusting to the power draw thing rather than classic performance. Mark Cerny is asking developers to do a lot of things differently with the PlayStation 5, such as make use of the brand new SSD, which I mentioned in a previous video, comes in between two PC gens. So as a result of that, the problem with the PlayStation 5 is it just gets way too hot apparently. We just saw a new patent today, which was mentioned in the news section, that the PlayStation 5 may have up to 6 fans on the inside of it, based on the patent to the PlayStation 5 dev kit. Rumors are now speculating that Sony has made big mistakes with their hardware design the first time around, and they might even put out a PlayStation 5 Pro earlier than expected 2 years from now rather than 4 years from now, as originally planned. And I believe, to be honest, that developers trying to take advantage of the faster SSD and throttle down power, it's really cool and exciting, and I do enjoy the fact that Sony has all these custom chips which are really powerful and really cool. But the thing about it is, developers need consistency. Xbox Series X is offering consistency, and it's offering the same platform that they went to college for. They're fresh out of college on the Microsoft Windows API and the Xbox, Unreal Engine 5, all that stuff. With Sony, things are going to be a bit different now, even with Unreal Engine 5 supporting their new way of doing things. It doesn't mean that you can suddenly, overnight, equal the experience of 30 years of Windows platform, which Xbox takes advantage of. So there's going to be a heavy debate this gen during the console wars of PS5 versus XSX. You're going to be hearing variable CPU rate. Is it good? Is it bad? Some people are going to be saying it's a good thing. Some people are going to be saying it's a bad thing. And you're going to be hearing about the SSDs and whether it was the right choice to go with proprietary or not, as well as the form factor, with the Xbox Series X having the superior cooling solution. It seems. We'll have to test it when they both come out. We'll be doing that and more, so keep your eyes locked to RealGamerNewz.com this holiday 2020 for next generation PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
All right, everybody. Now it's time for the community comments. On the last episode, we got a lot of comments, we got a lot of views, and we just appreciate everybody for dropping your feedback. Sean Sharp says, Sega and Xbox handheld like the Switch, but has xCloud support. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. That's what we're hoping for, right? Let's hope Sega and Microsoft are smart enough to figure out something like that. Even if it's not a big deal. Like, guys, it doesn't have to be fully powerful as the Switch. That would be great. That's probably what they should do. But even if it's something that could do like 2D gaming, that's what they need to understand. There's a huge indie market there, and they can curate and get select exclusives and multi-platforms that are worthy, like really good games, throw their own games on there like Sonic, Cuphead, etc. It doesn't have to always be like the most powerful thing ever. That's what hurt the Vita, even though it's amazing. Moving on. Doomslayer says, I have my eye on this. A Sega console would be interesting. Yeah, it would, right? I mean, that's not what we got right now, but I still think that we could be getting on the road to that, to be honest. Spawn1210 says, it's more likely that Sega becomes an exclusive developer to the Xbox. No way they enter the console space now. It's bloated already. Now, personally, I don't think it's bloated. I like to buy lots of electronics. I think there's still room for more. However, I would not be having any problem with Sega teaming up with Xbox like that. If they become software-only company and they're just like, okay, we're only on Xbox, I would be totally fine with that. Sky High Gamer says Crash Bandicoot isn't Sony, as sort of like a correction, because before I misleadingly mentioned it with a bunch of Sony games, because Crash Bandicoot identifies with PlayStation, as you saw in the Real Gamer history where we showed it on the magazine cover. But he's right, though. It's an Activision game. It was originally made by Universal Studios, the film where I was talking about film companies making games at the time, game studios. And then they ended up selling it to Activision. It's a shame that Sony didn't pick it up. That's their fault there. They probably would have liked to have that and Spyro as part of the PlayStation brand. If they could go back in time, I bet they would have bought them out. Ice Cold 723 says, Sega Portable, please. Jerome Datto says, this is partnership. Kingsley Jackson says, Xbox cast. Doomslayer said, I would avoid talking about The Last of Us 2 as Sony is striking down Twitters and locking them down at the moment. Yeah, well, we're Real Gamer News. We're going to keep it real and say whatever we want, you know? Sony, hi, how you doing? Ice Cold 723 again says, better get rid of the name and replace it with Microsoft's name. Sega sounds better. So I think he's saying, if they're going to make a cooperation, they should use Sega's name. To be honest, I don't think there's any chance in hell that that's happening, since Microsoft is $1 trillion practically, and Sega's $1 million. Just kidding. Those are not exact numbers. All right. Thanks for all your comments. And anybody, if you comment on any of our videos, I will read them on the next episode. So thanks so much for that. Appreciate you guys.
And now for the good news, where we give you today's positive side of gaming. For today's good news, we'd like to highlight Game On to Save Lives from Cancer. Gamers vs. Cancer, an operation with the American Cancer Society. Go to cancer.org/involved/fundraise/gamers vs. cancer or email gamersvscancer@cancer.org to see how you can help today. Whether you're a gamer, developer, publisher, esports, or creator, you can make a difference because the American Cancer Society recognizes gaming as a potential force for good. Even if you're not involved with video games and you just check out videos like this as a pastime, you can still pick up Gamers vs. Cancer merch, such as a tumbler, t-shirt, hat, hoodie, etc. on cancer.org in the Gamers vs. Cancer section. All proceeds go to helping out to find a cure for cancer and rare blood disease. We'd also like to give a shout out to Nigel Strong, who's recovered from a rare blood disease and is part of the Real Gamer News family. He's also studying to become a doctor to help cure the disease that he recovered from. We hope that this knowledge, plus the fact that computer power in gaming PCs are being used around the world to find cures for diseases right now, brings a tear to your eye of joy and makes every day easier to get through.
What's up, everybody? John again. Thanks so much for supporting Real Gamer News by checking out this video. If you like what you see, like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Until next time, keep it real, keep it gaming. Peace.
Thanks for checking out today's video. Like and subscribe and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. Peace.